boring history for sleep. How Viking raiders survived harsh winters. In a time long before modern comforts and warmth, you found yourself tucked away in a modest, drafty longhouse nestled in the heart of a Viking settlement. The cold seeped into your bones as you stirred awake, waves of gloomy gray filtering through a small, grimy window. Creaking of wood, you blinked, trying to shake off the morning fog. It was almost impossible, though, as the scent of damp straw and wood smoke hung thick in the air, mingling uncomfortably with the odor of unwashed bodies. Silence 2 seconds. Fleas danced merrily on your skin, much to the delight of your temperamental nerves. Rolling out of your straw bed, you hesitated, met by a shivering wave of unease. Chill in the air. The dirt floor was cold and gritty beneath your bare feet. Just another morning as a Viking, you thought sarcastically. Time to get on with the day's utterly thrilling routine. First came the relentless chore of sweeping the dirt floor. Then you grabbed the sturdy broom made from twigs and began to maneuver it across the rugged surface. Each stroke collected dust and debris, but also stirred up an assortment of hay, insects, and perhaps an item or two that had long since vanished into the earth. How delightful it was to feel like a glorified dust collector. Next, you ambled over to the pot hanging above the low burning fire. You peered inside, taking in the sight of the equally grim pottage bubbling away, amidst to the distant murmur of fellow villagers starting their own daily grind. Muffled voices, some were joking, while others grunted in the throes of manual labor. Such warmth in community. It was almost enough to forget the nagging hunger gnawing at your stomach. Almost. Outside, a faint breeze rustled through the cracked wood of the longhouse. You leaned against the wall, eyes momentarily catching the faint light filtering through the gaps, feeling an odd sense of stillness. You might have enjoyed it, if not for the knowing chill creeping back in. Your day promised nothing more than the endless cycle of tasks, gray skies, and biting cold. As the day wore on, your eyelids began to grow heavy. Hey, before Morpheus fully embraces you, quickly check if you're still subscribed. For some, the button vanished, and I don't want you to miss the next bedtime stories. Take a moment to leave a like, as soft as a pillow. Tell me in the comments, where are you listening from, and what time is it? Your interaction keeps this calm corner alive. Thanks for being part of it. A dawn of shadows. You blinked again, trying to shake off the weight of sleep. The air felt taut. It hung thick with something more than smoke and sweat. You shifted uneasily, feeling the familiar claustrophobia of the longhouse press in around you. Something wasn't quite right today. Creaking wood. With a reluctant groan, you resumed your chores. It was just another day of relentless drudgery, sweeping, stirring, cursing the chill. But there was a ripple beneath the surface of this monotony. You could feel it in your bones. As you swept, your hand brushed against something stiff, lodged in the floor. A bone? A splintered fragment? Lifting the loose dirt, you unearthed a small, weathered box, etched with symbols you couldn't decipher. Silence. Heart racing, you pried the lid open. Inside lay a brooch, glinting ominously in the damp light. A raven clutched a heart, blood-red jewels gleaming like fresh wounds. Your pulse thrummed. It wasn't just jewelry. It reeked of power, secrets, and mischief. You glanced around. A few villagers chatted nearby, their laughter a muted backdrop against your pounding heart. No one had noticed your discovery. You slipped the brooch into your pocket. The weight of it pressing against your thigh, as if it bore a history of its own. On the horizon, dark clouds gathered, thunderheads that rumbled like an unanswered question. The village buzzed unaware, but your mind was racing. What had the previous owner wanted this piece for? Just then, the doors swung wide. Lidka, the village's aged seer, shuffled in, arms wrapped tightly around her frail body. Her eyes, however, were sharp as daggers. You froze, practically hearing the wheels turn in her head. She spoke not a word at first. Instead, she raised an arm, pointing directly at you. A dark omen lies within your grasp. She hissed, voice cracking like thunder. The laughter halted. All eyes pivoted toward you. Confusion turned to dread as you felt them scrutinize you. Every secret thought laid bare in their gazes. "What do you mean?" Your voice trembled, though you tried to mask it with bravado. Her lips curled into a cryptic smile. "You bear a heart of the fallen. It holds a danger we cannot withstand." As you contemplated her words, the earth seemed to tremble. A faint boom reverberated through the ground, like the murmur of a beast awakening. The longhouse shuddered around you, loose straw raining down like autumn leaves. Fleas, long since forgotten, scurried from their hiding places, and the fire flickered violently. Someone rushed past, crying out that the village perimeter had been breached, a swarm of shapes flashing against the dark horizon. Shadows intertwined, growing larger, more menacing. Chaos erupted. Voices rose in panic. The familiar atmosphere of toil torn apart by the specter of impending doom. Your breath quickened as you felt the brooch pulse against your skin. Was it warning you or calling you? With Lidka's piercing gaze still on you, a jolt of fear ran through your entire being. As you stumbled back, the realization hit you like a wave. Whatever power this brooch held, it was tethered to the cataclysm unraveling just outside. And as you glanced back at the village, now a frenzy of shouting villagers scrambling and pointing, the shadows split apart, revealing figures donning ancient, tattered armor, their eyes burning like flames. You knew one thing for certain. There was no turning back now. Hey, before Morpheus fully claims you, quickly check if you're still subscribed. For some, the button vanished, and I don't want you to miss the next bedtime stories. Drop a like as soft as a pillow. Tell me in the comments, where are you listening from and what time is it? Your interaction keeps this corner of calm alive. Thanks for being part of it. Ravens of the night, you stood frozen, heart pounding as shadows loomed closer. They flickered ominously in the dim light, figures clad in tattered armor that seemed to absorb the very essence of the fading sunlight. The village erupted in chaos, but the weight of the brooch pressed heavily against your thigh, urging you to act. Then came a voice, a chilling, guttural growl that echoed through the air. "We come for what is ours." The words hung like a cloud of dread, and the villagers fell silent. Faces morphed from terror to confusion as they processed what was happening. You could feel their eyes on you, the weight of expectation mingling with the sweet aroma of smoke and fear. You glanced at Lidka. Her expression revealed something darker, a flash of recognition in her aged, creased features. She turned, facing the encroaching figures. "Fools," she hissed, her voice too steady for the chaos unfolding. "They return for the pact." Pact? What was she talking about? Your head swirled with questions. You hadn't signed any contract. You just wanted to survive without incident. Your grip tightened around the brooch, the cool metal sending jolts through your fingers. A surge of murmurs spread through the onlookers, a blend of fear and disbelief. "The ancient pact is broken," someone whispered. "They will reclaim what was lost." Your eyes widened as understanding broke through the haze. A pact between the living and the dead? It felt like a story woven from threads of old tales, the kind that had been whispered around fires. But this was real. "Not just ours," Lidka continued, a strange quirk dancing at the edges of her lips. "Yours, too." Your stomach twisted. What did she mean? Before you could ask, the shadows surged forward, a cacophony of clanking metal and gruff calls. In the heart of the crowd, an omen of your own making hung heavy, a choice you had yet to acknowledge. You had unearthed the brooch, but it seemed it had summoned more than just memories. It awakened something primal, tied to the very fate of the village. Suddenly, the lead figure stepped forward, revealing a face twisted with ancient fury. "The heart is pulled from the earth, but the blood will not suffice. We demand tribute." A thunderous roar erupted, shaking the very foundation of the longhouse. The villagers, once strong and united, now looked to you. Whispers swirled. Blame, fear, desperation. You were too frail for this weight. Yet they were looking for a leader, for salvation. "What do you want?" Your voice cracked, cutting through the din. He opened his mouth to answer, but just then, shrieks pierced the evening. Another group of figures materialized from the mist, clad not in armor, but in robes of searing white, their faces ghostly and vacant. They moved in unison, as if choreographed for a dance you had never wanted to witness. A new wave of dread settled over you. Who were they? What did they want? The clamor grew louder, a tangled web of demands and confusion, grabbing hold of your chest. The original figures moved forward, and the new ones reacted, their intentions unclear. And just like that, the knowledge you had pulled from the earth danced at your fingertips. A cold truth that could spell doom for everyone if you failed to act. What would you choose? Hey, before Morpheus fully claims you, quickly check if you're still subscribed. For some, the button vanished, and I don't want you to miss the next bedtime stories. Drop a like, as soft as a pillow. Tell me in the comments, where are you listening from, and what time is it? Your interaction keeps this corner of calm alive. Thanks for being part of it. The secret in the shadows. Panic surged as the figures approached. Their eyes flickered with an otherworldly glow, reflecting the gathering dusk. As chaos unfolded, your heart hammered against your ribs, thudding like the drums of an approaching storm. What do they want? You whispered, your voice barely escaping your lips. The lead figure stepped forward, his breath steaming in the cold air. He spoke of pacts and tributes, but something else lurked beneath his words. His gaze turned to Lidka, and a sly grin crept across his face. The tension thickened, heavy like the dampness that clung to your skin. Ah, Lidka, he said, voice dripping with mockery. You thought hiding the truth would protect your precious village. What truth? You shot a confused look at Lidka, whose normally sharp eyes now widened with an alarming recognition. She stepped closer to you, shielding you with her frail frame, yet you could feel the tension buzzing between them. The bloodline, Lidka stammered. It must never be awakened. The air crackled with whispered revelations. A murmur rippled through the crowd, villagers exchanging furtive glances, eyes darting to you, then back to Lidka. You felt your stomach drop. Bloodlines? Truths? Were you tied into this mess? You glanced down, the brooch in your pocket seeming to pulse with a malicious intent, as if it understood everything that had been hidden away. Enough, you barked, voice shaking but firm. What is it? The lead figure sneered. This village, this land, is steeped in your blood. There are secrets buried here. And you, he pointed a gnarled finger at you, you are the key. What key? A chill ran down your spine as the villagers began to step back, distancing themselves from you. The essence of the chaos warped around you, darkness slipping in like the thief. With a single wave of his hand, the shadows surged, morphing into grotesque shapes that danced at the edges of the light. You awaken us, yet in your ignorance you tear at the fabric of the pacts that keep us bound. a new figure emerged from behind the lead spectre, her silhouette ghostly and ethereal. The white-robed one began to sing, a haunting melody that seemed to pull the very spirits of the earth from the soil beneath you. The villagers stood frozen, entranced, ere fear morphed into something else, an eerie calm embracing them, as if they were being lulled into a deep slumber. Your throat closed, panic clawing from your belly. "Stop!" The word tore from your lips, cutting through the entrancement. This was no time for beautifully haunting lullabies, but the lead figure only laughed, a chilling sound echoing through the square. You do not have the will to confront the past, child. You have no power. With that, the shadows twined around you, and for a moment, you felt the weight of countless souls, a multitude of lives chained by secrets and binding spells. A heavy fog began to envelop the village, the very air suffocating with whispers of lost histories. You drew, in a shaky breath, your heart racing. Just when you thought you grasped the essence of the turmoil, a blinding flash illuminated the scene. Then, darkness, silence, and a scream that pierced through the air. Yours. Your body trembled, caught between ancient forces and unsettling truths. What fate awaited you now? Hey, before Morpheus fully claims you, quickly check if you're still subscribed. For some, the button vanished, and I don't want you to miss the next bedtime stories. Drop a like as soft as a pillow. Tell me in the comments, where are you listening from and what time is it? Your interaction keeps this corner of calm alive. Thanks for being part of it. A shadow revealed. You emerged from the depths of darkness, gasping, an electric thrill racing through you. Your surroundings spun, a kaleidoscope of chaos thickening in the air. The eerie whispers faded, yet the pulse of the brooch still throbbed, anchoring you in the whirlwind. You blinked away the remnants of the vision, shook your head, and glanced around the village square. The villagers still appeared entranced, staring into the fog like lost souls. But something had shifted. The lead figure raised a hand, freezing the moment. He looked more formidable than before, energy crackling around him like static in the air. Somewhere between dread and confrontation, you felt the villagers begin to stir. Just then, the chilling melody of the figure in white morphed. It turned hopeful, a lullaby that resonated deep within your chest. Strangely comforting, but all too odd. You tightened your grip on the brooch, feeling its coldness against your fingertips. "Power," he murmured, voice low, yet rhythmic, "awakens in the truth." Power. You had just wanted to survive the mundane life of a Viking, not become an unwilling participant in whatever cosmic game this was. A shiver rippled through the air, logging shadows and spirits locked in a dance of their own making. You could almost taste the tension, as if the villagers' breaths mingled with fear and hope. Listen, the lead figure commanded, eyes flaring. The pact was not merely forgotten. It was broken by the silence that has wrapped this village like a shroud. And you, his gaze pinned you. You hold the key to return this balance. Balance? Whatever he meant, it didn't feel right. Still, the truth hummed with an urgency that made your heart race. Lidka stepped forward, swirling of emotions in her gaze. The pact, it's more than just words. You carry the bloodline, lost but never forgotten. The spirits await your command, she said, her voice now urgent, tinged with desperation. Bloodline? Were you really linked to all this? You glanced at the brooch, feeling a flicker of resentment mix with disbelief. Lidka, what do you mean? You breathlessly demanded. Her voice trembled. Those who come seek a new leader, but the truth unleashes shadows. The village, you must prepare for an awakening. The energy shifted, and with it, their faces morphed. Fear turned to something darker. Suddenly, a crack thundered through the air, scattering everyone. Your heart raced as the ground shook, vibrating with something primal. The lead figure pointed, the hint of a wicked smile on his lips. Shadows coiled like cracked whips behind him. Those who broke the pact will suffer. They belong to the earth until all is returned. You felt the brooch move, pulsing against your skin. But what price would it demand from you? The night pulled tight, each villager's expression twisting into something monstrous as they turned. Stand with the shadows, or face your doom, the figure intoned, his voice echoing like a foul curse over the thrumming air. And as you stepped back, feeling the whispers of the spirits settle against your skin, you understood that your choices would unleash consequences that rippled far beyond your understanding. Could you stand against this might? Or would you fall into the darkness as they beckoned you closer? Hey, before Morpheus fully claims you, quickly check if you're still subscribed. For some, the button vanished, and I don't want you to miss the next bedtime stories. Drop a like as soft as a pillow. Tell me in the comments, where are you listening from, and what time is it? Your interaction keeps this corner of calm alive. Thanks for being part of it. A dreadful revelation. The air thickened with tension, swirling shadows flickering like fireflies, refusing to settle. You took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the brooch heavy against your thigh, pulsing as if aware of the chaos around you. What will you do? The lead figure demanded, his voice a low growl that reverberated against the wooden walls of the longhouse. His eyes seemed to bore into your very soul. But before you could find an answer, the sky above darkened, clouds swirling as if summoned by the rising dread. The ambiance shifted, chilling your skin. You shifted uneasily, trying to grasp the surreal scene unfolding in front of you. Will you stand with the shadows? He questioned again, eyes narrowing. or will you face the hunger of the earth? Just as you prepared to answer, a loud crash interrupted, shaking the ground beneath your feet. From the depths of the nearby forest, there was a stir, an unexpected sound that echoed like the crack of a whip. Sounds of crashing branches. Suddenly, the ground rumbled like thunder, and a chilling shriek pierced the air. The villagers snapped from their trance, their fear palpable. You turned to see a figure burst from the woods, a woman, her tattered dress revealing skin marred by dirt and scratches. But that wasn't what chilled you. It was her face, haunted, gaunt, and oddly familiar. "Help me," she screamed, panting heavily, her wild eyes darting around, scanning the crowd. "It's coming! They want you!" A gasp swept through the villagers, eyes wide with shock. You felt the brothers and sisters of your village edging back, avoiding the accusing glares from both the living and the shadowy figures. "What do you mean, they?" you called out, throat dry. But her answer was lost in another bone-rattling crash. A monstrous shape loomed through the trees, blotting out the gloaming light. Shadows creeping, sorrowful whispers. Your heart raced. The creature unfurled like an awakening storm. Twisted limbs, hollow eyes. It drew closer, and the villagers' whispers turned to cries of fear. Ambivalence gripped you, drifting through your mind like spindrift on frigid waves. The shadows behind you shifted, their forms twisting with a dreadful amusement. "She's the key," the lead figure hissed, its attention diverted toward the woman. "She knows. She must choose, or else." Another figure interjected, eyes narrowing with malicious intrigue. "What do you mean?" you shouted, voice cracking. You were caught between tumultuous shadows and the chaos unfolding before you. No one seemed to have any answers, only questions spiraling into the void. Your head spun with confusion, but you couldn't afford to hesitate. The brooch pulsed, and a flicker of power surged within you. All eyes turned to you, villagers now uncertain, and the shadows hungered. "What do I have to do?" you asked, though the words felt heavy on your tongue. The woman stepped forward, urgency driving her. "You must remember, there's a secret buried beneath our feet. A choice was made once, and now it must be undone." "Enough!" the lead figure roared, eyes blazing. "Sacrifices must be made. A leader must arise." You swallowed hard, realizing a deep truth. The fate of the village was intricately woven into your bloodline, intertwined with forgotten pacts. As the monstrous shape skulked closer, darkness mingled with uncertainty. What choice would you make? Would you dare awaken the secret, or doom the villagers to a fate worse than death? Hey, before Morpheus fully claims you, quickly check if you're still subscribed. For some, the button vanished, and I don't want you to miss the next bedtime stories. Drop a like as soft as a pillow. Tell me in the comments, where are you listening from, and what time is it? Your interaction keeps this corner of calm alive. Thanks for being part of it. A disturbing revelation. You stood there, the weight of the brooch pressing down on you as a storm brewed in the village square. The woman's warning still echoed in your ears. "Help me, they want you!" The monstrous shape loomed closer, its features beginning to emerge through the fog. It wasn't just a creature. It was a monster born from centuries of hidden truths and dark pacts. An unsettling chill slithered down your spine as the villagers murmured in fear, rooted to the spot. Your heart raced as you felt the energy pulsing around you, shadows whispering their long-held desires. What was this pact that tied you to them all? The lead figure moved, his eyes glinting like obsidian. "You don't understand," he said. "You are more than you know. Your bloodline connects us all." Finally, a flicker of resolve ignited within you. "What's the truth?" you demanded, trying to shake off the confusion. Suddenly, the sky cracked with thunder, startling everyone. The air thickened, winding around you like a vice. You could see the villagers' faces, horror morphing into something deeper. Was that resignation you detected? Then, the woman shouted above the noise. "The pact was forged when the first blood was spilled. The village thrives on sacrifice." Sacrifice? The words hung in the air, wrapping around your throat like a noose. But before you could ponder their meaning, the shadows shivered, almost impatiently. As if summoned by an unseen force, the ground rumbled again, and a fissure opened beneath the monstrous creature. Its howling scream echoed as the dark figures seemed to draw strength from the chaos. "Not again," you murmured, trembling. The villagers began to back away, disappointment creeping across their features. Apparently, they were resigned to a fate they believed inevitable. "Those who come demand balance," the lead figure growled. "They will reclaim what is theirs unless you offer something greater." Communal dread pulsed through the crowd like a heartbeat. They had succumbed to something dark, a darkness you were tied to. Your fingers brushed the brooch, its cold surface grounding you in that moment. "Remember," the woman urged, her eyes pleading with you. "Dig deep and uncover what was hidden. We are all threads in this tapestry." Tapestry? You couldn't fathom what she meant. A shiver rolled through you, and in that instant, everything shifted. The shadows around you wavered, revealing glimpses of ancient villagers, faces fierce, eyes ablaze, whose lives had been woven into this horrific cycle of sacrifice. Were they the ones haunting this village? You felt a hard squeeze of fear wrap around your chest. "No!" you shouted. "I refuse to be a puppet in this festering plot." Around you, the villagers exchanged uncertain looks, as if wondering if you might actually be capable of breaking this cycle. But doubt lingered, and the air thickened with unvoiced worries. The lead figure laughed, a sound that chilled you. "Refusal is your downfall. The blood will tell." Before you could respond, another crack echoed through the village. Behind you, the mist coiled, forming into an apparition of a past villager. A dreaded memory made flesh. Awaken the truth, or face the shadows forever, it whispered. Your breathing quickened. You were trapped, caught between truths, sacrifices, and the cacophony of spirits longing for release. What truth would you uncover, and at what cost? The ground beneath you trembled, and a dark presence surged forward. What in the world had you awakened? Hey, before Morpheus fully claims you, quickly check if you're still subscribed. For some, the button vanished, and I don't want you to miss the next bedtime stories. Drop a like as soft as a pillow. Tell me in the comments, where are you listening from, and what time is it? Your interaction keeps this corner of calm alive. Thanks for being part of it. A disturbing truth. You braced yourself. The weight of the brooch digging into your pocket like it had something to say. The monstrous figure towered before you, swelling darkly with its terrible promise of dread. Its eyes scoured the villagers hungrily, searching for any hint of a weak heart to seize. Help me! They want you! The woman's voice rang through the air again, panic now laced with desperation. What do you want me to do? You asked, though the answer hung heavy on the tip of your tongue. The shadows laughed, a low, rumbling cackle that made your skin prickle. The lead figure continued, his voice softer now, threading through the chaos like smoke. The pact must be renewed. One must take the fallen's place. What fallen? You strained your memory. But so many faces and names collided in your mind. Paralyzed, you could only watch as the villagers attempted to shake free of their enchantment. The fear in their eyes mirrored your own. Stop! You shouted, hoping to cut through the tension. What's happening? What do you mean, fallen? But before you could receive an answer, the woman lunged at you, a glint of frustration sparking in her wild eyes. You must unlock the truth. The blood demands it. As if on cue, the monster shifted, its form writhing in agony. The shadows behind it swirled, almost like they had substance. They flickered, their faces familiar, yet twisted in anguish. Then, another crash echoed from the forest, freezing your heart. With a terrifying roar, more figures stumbled out of the trees, their shapes outlined ominously against the approaching storm. And between the gusting winds, whispers seeped into your ears, secrets long buried resurfacing like bile. Bloodline, sacrifice, power. Your heart raced. Were they speaking about you? The air shifted. Something inside you awakened. A faint memory stirring deeper than the morning's breakfast of barley porridge. You clutched the brooch tighter. It thrummed against your skin, begging for release. What is hidden beneath these shadows? You murmured, tightening your grip. Suddenly, a chill swept through the crowd, freezing time. Shadows coalesced further, revealing forms of long-forgotten villagers dressed in tattered robes. Their mournful eyes locked onto yours. They beckoned, their silence deafening. "Are they?" you breathed, but the air thickened, a fog wrapping around you, making words slip away. Otherworldly cries rang out, echoes of betrayal and yearning. "No!" the lead figure roared above the rising tumult. "You will not deny what is yours." Suddenly, the shadows lunged forward, wrapping tendrils around the villagers, and for all their bravery, they began to cry out. Fear twisted their faces, a mirror of your own horror. You could feel it pulse through the ground. Desperation, fury, and an undeniable thirst for retribution. Then it hit you. The villagers hadn't merely succumbed. They were prisoners of their own history, bound by old ties, unforgiven sins, and a power you had unknowingly unleashed. Your breath quickened as the monstrous form towered behind you, waiting. Was it the fate of a leader, or something darker? The choice was yours. A sudden crash echoed through the air as the earth cracked beneath you. And then the world spun, darkness consuming everything. Hey, before Morpheus fully claims you, quickly check if you're still subscribed. For some, the button vanished, and I don't want you to miss the next bedtime stories. Drop a like, as soft as a pillow. Tell me in the comments, where are you listening from, and what time is it? Your interaction keeps this corner of calm alive. Thanks for being part of it. The secret within. The world spun around you, a dizzying dance of chaos and shadows. You stumbled, disoriented, the monstrous figure looming just behind you. The ground trembled, as if eager to swallow you whole. "Help me! They want you!" The woman's voice echoed in the growing storm, now almost a familiar refrain. You blinked rapidly, shaking your head, to clear the fog of fear. There had to be an answer somewhere, amid the madness. The brooch in your pocket pulsed, growing hot against your thigh, urging you to remember. The villagers stood frozen, their faces a mixture of dread and guilt. Lidka's words hung heavy in the air, stirring ghosts of fear and guilt. "The bloodline must be awoken," she had said. But at what cost? Suddenly, a piercing shriek cut through the murmurs. Heads turned, and the entire village fixated on the source of the sound. Emerging from the dense fog was a figure. A girl, perhaps not more than 10, her hair wild and matted. "Stop!" she shouted, stumbling into the square, eyes wide with panic. "It's all lies! They're not coming for you! They're coming for me!" Gasps erupted from the crowd. The shadows recoiled, confusion rippling through the gathered villagers. "What do you mean?" you stammered, your heart racing once again. What could this child possibly know that could unsettle everything? "The pact," she breathed, glancing at the shadows, now shifting around you, "was set in the blood of the firstborn." A chill gripped you, freezing the air in your lungs. That could only mean one thing. There was something deeply buried beneath the village you had yet to uncover. Something far more unsettling than you had ever imagined. Your blood is the key, the lead figure sneered, anger flashing across his features. This child, she's the last link to the old ties. They demand their rightful claims. You stared at the girl, who now stood trembling in your shadow, her expression a blend of innocence and fear. The shadows around her flickered, swirling like young flames eager to ignite. What did this mean for you? Could you truly defy the pact by discovering the truth hidden deep within the village's heart? A shiver ran down your spine, and the air thickened with a tension that threatened to burst. "No more sacrifices," you yelled, but your voice felt hollow against the mounting dread. Could you really protect her? Shield her from the ties that bound your very existence? Suddenly, the girl glanced back toward you, her eyes pleading. "You ripped the fabric of our lives," she cried. "But what you don't realize is that the shadows are all around. They want to drag us back into the void." A crack of thunder split the sky, and shadows danced ominously, whispering ancient words you couldn't comprehend. A darkness deeper than before seeped into the atmosphere, thick as fog, yet behind the dread was a flicker of something else. Hope? You weren't sure. And just as you stared into the abyss of what lay ahead, the ground beneath you quaked. A deafening roar shattered the silence as the monster surged closer, shadows twisting and tightening around the girl. The villagers backed away, eyes wide with terror. What would you choose? Hey, before Morpheus fully claims you, quickly check if you're still subscribed. For some, the button vanished, and I don't want you to miss the next bedtime stories. Drop A like as soft as a pillow. Tell me in the comments, where are you listening from, and what time is it? Your interaction keeps this corner of calm alive. Thanks for being part of it. You stood there, heart hammering against your chest, as the air crackled with tension. The monstrous figure loomed above you, a dark threat against the backdrop of bewildered villagers. The girl, the last link to the ancient pact, quaked at your side. Fear painted across her face like strokes on a cursed canvas. This is it, you thought, the stakes rising higher than the rafters of the longhouse. No more sacrifices, not on my watch. With a deep breath, you stepped forward. The brooch throbbed in your pocket, as if it sensed the courage swelling in your chest. No, we will not allow this darkness to take another life. The lead figure's sneer melted away, replaced by a look of contempt mixed with surprise. "You dare defy us?" he hissed, shadows swirling around his feet like a fog creeping in from the forest. "Dare? I will not quake in fear," you shot back, feeling the vibrations of ancient power coursing through your veins. You think you have dominion over us? You know nothing of our spirit. And with those words, something remarkable happened. The villagers, who had been paralyzed by fear, began to stir. Whispers arose, a potent tide of hope washing over the crowd. They rallied beside you, a meager yet formidable force against darkness. The monstrous figure faltered, its eerie glow dimming. Confused by your newfound confidence, and the solidarity of the villagers. The shadows that had once whispered of despair now flickered uncertainly, exposed to the brilliance of your collectivity. The pact was broken, and your power is drawn from our fear, you proclaimed. But we will forge a new path, forged from strength and unity. The ground responded with low tremors, as if the earth recognized the truth echoed in your voice. And with that, an awakening washed over the villagers. They stepped forward, taking their place beside you, murmuring their secrets, their bloodline uniting in defiance. Lidka, the village seer, looked on, a glimmer of pride sparkling in her eyes. This is it. We reclaim what was lost. In that moment, the shadows seemed to shrink back, unable to withstand the warmth of camaraderie, unraveling the very bonds they had woven. The lead figure's fury ignited again, but it was too late. The echoes of their anguished history blended into an almost melodic chaos. Leave our village and take your darkness with you, you commanded, brandishing your hand where the brooch shone brightly, a beacon against despair. A deafening roar erupted as the monstrous form twitched and writhed, lurching backward, swallowed by the rising fog that began to recede into the trees from whence it came. With a final crack of thunder, it vanished, taking the shadows with it. The villagers stood tall, hearts pounding, faces breaking into weary smiles. In the aftermath, the village felt lighter as the oppressive energies dissipated. Lidka approached you, her gnarled fingers grasping your arm. The shadows will always linger, but your courage will light the way. And the girl, with wide eyes filled with wonder, smiled, lifting her chin. You broke the cycle. Yet even as the village began to heal, a lingering mystery hung in the air. As you all gathered around the fire that evening, sharing tales of bravery and laughter, the soft glow illuminated the old stones beneath your feet. Just where they lay were whispers of truths yet untouched. Maybe, just maybe, the shadows would return someday. But until then, you had reclaimed the heart of your village and ignited a new dawn. You must subscribe right now so you don't miss the next exclusive stories that will expand your imagination even further. This is the moment to show your support. Smash that like button now to keep the algorithm happy and the tales coming. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about this wild ending. And don't wait another second to share this video right away with 5 friends who need to hear this conclusion. Only true fans understand the importance of these actions. So let's see that support in action.